Good morning, everybody, and welcome to TRS Live. I am your host, Matt Trotz, and man, that music just gets me fired up. That means I have all kinds of savings for you today, but let's go over a couple things real quick. Remember, the fixed TV platform. So why do we bring that up? Well, the reason we bring that up is because we want you to get the most savings you absolutely possibly can. So by signing up for $5.99 to the fixed TV platform, you automatically are going to get a $5 credit to the Real Shot, and that's monthly. So as long as you stay a member to fixed TV, you will get a $5 credit to the Real Shot to use, well, right here on TRS Live. So that basically means your monthly membership is 99 cents. The other thing too is if you refer a friend, you will get a free month on the Real or on fixed TV. So you can basically be paying 99 cents a month for awesome stuff like The Guided Life, which there's a new episode out there. It's retro turkey hunting. It goes way back to 2020. I was able to self-film a nice tom during the third season, I believe, in 2020, so that you can watch that one. There's head-to-head fishing is on there. The Jake Jacob show is on there, and there's a lot more shows coming at you on the fixed platform. So again, join the fixed platform, get a $5 credit monthly. That's monthly to the Real Shot to use. And the other thing too that's going on is the Real Shot's got some awesome savings going on right now for Father's Day. That's this weekend. Do not forget, Father's Day is this weekend. Take advantage of the online and in-store sales that the Real Shot has got going on. So we're going to get into some of these products today, and you're going to start to notice here with TRS Live, we're trying to theme these products. What that means is if you buy this, this is probably going to be a perfect fit to go right along with it. And as we get into the first product of today, we are going to be again talking about Salmon Candy. It's the 8-inch flashers, and we're going to be talking about Riddler stud, Arctic stud, Nate's Dreamsicle, and Lako stud. So you can see the prices, you can see where to order. But I'm going to do my best to talk to you about Salmon Candy, but I'm going to have a special guest on the line who is going to help us really talk about Salmon Candy. Now, you may be familiar with this person on TikTok is where I started seeing him, and then I found his YouTube and his socials on Instagram and Facebook. But Cody Sahlberg is a gentleman who does a phenomenal job on social. He also just became a guide. He's been first mating for a while. So Cody is on the line. Cody, can you hear me this morning, buddy?
I can, Matt. How's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for making time out of your busy schedule. What's going on with you otherwise, man?
Oh, you know, just busy. Green Bay's been on fire lately. Walleye fishing. Fished a little tournament out on Lake Winnebago yesterday. Caught plenty of fish. Did pretty well out there, too. So just trying to stay busy.
Yeah, you said we were talking yesterday. You said you had a 50-fish day. You wish you could have fished a head-to-head event.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, I went out there just trying to, hoping for those 5 bites that we needed for the tournament. Lo and behold, just ran into them, found them real good. I mean, I'd say we caught upwards 40, 50 legal fish. I was just kind of shaking my head, saying, dang. If I would have been in the head-to-head tournament today, we would have did pretty well.
So, Cody, as we kind of get into it, we're going to be talking some Salmon Candy stuff, and I know you've been doing some videos on your YouTube channel. Kind of tell fans that maybe are new to you and your socials where they could kind of follow along on some of the stuff that we're going to be seeing from you coming up soon.
Yeah, so most of the videos that I've been posting have been going directly to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called Cody S. Pretty simple YouTube channel name. So when you type in Cody S, I'm sure something's going to pop up around my name there. And basically all the salmon fishing, walleye fishing, ice fishing is really big for me. Everything that I've been doing in the outdoors has just been getting posted there. But I kind of been trying to transition some of that stuff over to Facebook, my Facebook page as well, which is Cody S Fishing. And, we're getting pretty good views on both sides of things. So.
Well, and that's why when I was perusing YouTube the other day, and like I said, I've been kind of following you along on some of your adventures, and I noticed the one you did this year already when you went out and chasing king salmon, I believe it was. And the first big salmon you caught of the day, you caught it on, I don't think it was a Salmon Candy flasher, it might have been a fly, but the question I have for you is you are guiding walleye this year, you're thinking about getting into the salmon portion more next year, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So when you're out there, like running some of these Salmon Candy products that you see here, like Rittler stud, Arctic stud, Nate's Dreamsicle, Lako stud, like what trips you to use either like the green patterns like we see on the screen or like some of the chrome backs like we're talking about today?
I mean, honestly, you just kind of got to go out there and fish with them. Normally the first time out, you throw a variety of stuff out, whether it's green, whether it's blue, whether it's chrome, more gaudy colors, whatever it may be. Typically, in the past, early in the year, those greens, those blues are kind of your best, go-to baits that you want to stick to. Chrome is always a great one too. So basically when I get out there for the first time of the year, I'll just kind of put a variety of, baits out there and basically just kind of switch over, transition to baits that are producing well for me. Keep them, in a good hot box and just kind of run those baits until, they start switching to a different color or something like that too, well, later on down the year.
Well, and that's the cool thing about the Salmon Candy product like we're talking about. I mean, not only do they have like the chrome back or the green backs like everybody's seeing on the screen, but they also have a great look in the tape that's on there, whether it's a UV tape or just a standardized tape. I mean, that stuff with the color schemes that are in there, you're basically, what I'm gathering, Cody, is you're letting the fish talk to you on which combination they really want to see out there.
Yep. And I mean, it goes the same for walleye fishing for me too. I mean, if I'm running UV Super Frog or a Nate's Dream Scale, if they want Nate's Dream Scale, give them Nate's Dream Scale. It's basically how I look at it.
Right. So, and obviously we're gonna combo these with a Salmon Candy fly at some time. But, when you were out there first mating, you had a bunch of different lines out there. The other question I have is how do you kind of pick between like the flasher that we're talking about today, like basically the 8-inch standardized one, and like the more minnow or fish shaped body of the flashers that are out there?
I mean, a lot of it, again, kind of just depends on presentation of what those fish want that day. A lot of times, if you're going to be running some of those bigger flashers too, you're targeting bigger fish, you're running them deeper. A lot of times those 8-inch flashers, you can pretty much throw on anything, whether you're going to put them on a pump handle, a dipsy diver, or even a downrigger and, find success on those baits. So it really all comes down to presentation and what kind of fish you're looking to target.
So, and that's the other thing. So, like, Nick Schneider, we had him on here. He's the Great Lakes specialist at the Reel Shot, and he said the #1 forage for salmon and trout on the Great Lakes is alewife, and that's kind of the concept behind the Salmon Candy spoons, right? Is to mimic a schooling bait fish.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, and when it comes down to the flashers, I mean, the flashers, you're basically you're looking to attract the fish with those flashers. That's mainly what that does. And then, when you run that lead down to the fly, that fly is really what we're trying to mimic those alewives with. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at I'm holding in my hand right here, that's Rittler stud, and it's a great looking color. The tape, the finish on the tape is very nice. I mean, the durability of these. And now let's talk about some of the speeds, right? So troll speeds, that were recommended on the Salmon Candy website were 1.3 to 3.6. And does that really matter as well on the standard to the fish pattern board like we were talking about, or you're just trusting this 8-inch standard to do all of the above like you mentioned before?
Yeah, you can run different speeds depending on which flashers you're running. I always try to keep everything the same. What I mean by that is if I am using 8-inch flashers, I'm keeping those leads to my flies all the same. That way, when I do go out, I start running a certain speed. If one bait starts doing well, all baits should start doing well.
Right.
If I am running like a chrome stud or a Mountain Dew stud UVs, anything like that, and I'm doing well on that one bait, I can easily, reel up my other rods, reel up my downriggers, throw another Mountain Dew stud on with that same lead, throw it down there, and pretty much, know that I'm going to be able to catch fish on that bait because I got the same leads, same speed, everything's the same.
Right, and that's some of the nice things that we're looking at here with the components of the Salmon Candy. They change the snaps, the clips, everything is there The ability to have it welded, the welded ring is really nice. I mean, just the durability, like we talked about with the tape too. I mean, you can kind of see, Aaron, bring up that video again so people can kind of get a good look at some of the colors that we're referring to. But we're referring to Riddler stud, Arctic stud, Nate's Dreamsicle, and Lako stud. And helping us talk about it today is Cody Sahlberg. Cody has been, you know, a guide. Now, this is this the first year, like I said, you've been guiding out there?
Yeah, this is actually my first year guiding for walleye on Green Bay. I haven't really dabbled with it a whole lot, obviously, in the past. In the past, I've just gotten a lot of messages about it, so I decided to go get my captain's license and kind of move forward with that this year. So.
And now, are you still open for trips for walleye yet this year?
Yeah, I do have some openings basically through the month of August yet. And then I'll have some openings yet too, even after August. We'll be kind of hitting the Fox River Lower Bay again for that fall bite. So
perfect. So again, everybody, we're talking to Cody Sahlberg. If you're interested, you can find him on his socials and everything like this. But I mean, I just felt like you were a perfect person to talk to because, you know, how long did you first mate for your buddy who is also a charter on Lake Michigan?
I've been mating for him honestly only for about a year. He and I went and got our captain's license together. He was kind of more into the salmon fishing thing. I was kind of into the walleye fishing thing. So he basically, you know, bought a charter boat and is running charters out of Manitowoc as of this year. And, you know, I've just been kind of helping him out. Obviously, we've both been fishing the Great Lakes for, you know, as long as we can remember being kids or whatever. Our dad's getting us out there and stuff. So it's just kind of neat to go, you know, get our captain's license and kind of put our passion in other people's hands and let them crank in some of these fish that the Great Lakes are known for. So it's pretty cool and a lot of fun too.
Right. So as the viewers can see at home right now, Cody, the price on these flashers typically is $17.99. We got them $5 off right now, so that's $12.99. You might want to tell your buddy to take advantage of that on these Salmon Candy flashers because that's a really good deal. And the thing about it is, you know, now with your business being out there guiding every day, like it's here today, gone tomorrow. So you definitely have to take advantage of a deal, especially when you know when something's triggering the bite. Like you don't buy one nowadays, you're buying like a pile of those flashers, right?
Absolutely. That's always how it works. You can never have enough.
Yeah, you can never absolutely have enough. So, I mean, on the screen right now, it's SC8FL. That's a Salmon Candy flasher. We're talking again about Riddler stud, Arctic stud, Nate's Dreamsicle, Lako stud. And, I mean, there's really not much more to say, everybody. It's just the fact that it's a quality flasher. It's probably the hottest flasher on the market right now. The Salmon Candy name is blowing up. It's the biggest thing that for the salmon trout fishing, Great Lakes, all the way around. But I mean, again, take advantage of that deal. $17.99, $5 off, $12.99. Hey, Cody, we're going to kind of cut you loose here, but I appreciate it, man. Again, tell everybody where they can find you on social media as well, and if they're looking to book a trip with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been doing all my social media stuff basically on Facebook and YouTube. My Facebook page is Cody S Fishing. If you're looking to book a trip, you can definitely go there. Reach out to me. I have a book now button. You can go through my schedule, pick dates that works for you. Basically, I'll get in touch with you, let you know if the dates are available. And then if you want to watch my YouTube videos, again, those are getting posted on Facebook. But you can also head on over to YouTube, type in Cody S, and all my stuff will pop up. You'll be able to watch me there. So.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate you making time this morning. I'm going to kind of continue on, but have a good rest of your day, buddy, and hopefully you catch a lot more fish coming up.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Matt, for having me on. All
right. Thanks so much. So that was Cody, everybody. He's a phenomenal guy. Follow along on TikTok. He helps represent a bunch of different companies out there, and we talked about this, and I said, man, are you affiliated with Salmon Candy? He says, no, but I absolutely believe in the Salmon Candy product. It's helping me catch fish when he's out there. Remember, he's just fun fishing at this time. And a guy like that who is a guide for walleye but is going to get into the salmon portion of it, he needs to be able to trust in the product that he's running day in and day out, not only for himself, but for you if you do book a trip with him. So I wanted him on here because I know that he's on fire right now, just like Salmon Candy. He's a great guy. He's fun to watch on his shows. I highly recommend you go check him out. But everybody, $17.99 is normal retail on these. $12.99, that's $5 off. Right now, Dad needs some stuff for Father's Day. Plus, you got to replenish the box, right? And like Cody mentioned, the colors that we refer to, Riddler stud, Arctic stud, Nate's Dreamsicle, and Laco stud, if you find that one of these is the ticket right now, you're going to want a bunch to have in that box. And like we've heard a lot of the top-end anglers say is they have a game day box, right? Like I know that if I put this one on, I have the confidence that, you know what, I'm going to get bit. It may not be right away, but at some point the fish is going to be attracted. And this flasher, these tape jobs on here, the double fin technology, the 8-inch, I mean, this is just a standard great flasher in the world right now for Salmon Candy, the Salmon Candy product for salmon and trout. So go ahead, take advantage of the deal that's on your screen right now. Salmon Candy, $17.99, $12.99. If you are a fixed TV member, you could shave you could shave off another $5, like I said too. And if you get stuck out there, this chrome back style right here is a great to send a beacon out. SOS. Yeah, I should have used this last night, Aaron. That's why I got all this razor burn. My mirror was still fogged up. I should have had one of these Salmon Candy flies out there, or flashers out there. So again, thanks Cody for joining us. Hey, we are gonna roll into some awesome products before we get into this commercial break. So coming up next, we're going to bring Nick Schneiderwint up here, and then we're going to start talking about Akuma, the Akuma Convector Series reels, which again, we talked about things that pair very well with the Salmon Candy flashers. The Convector line counters, we're talking about the CV30DS, the CV45D, and then the CV45DS. So again, these are going to be one of those things that the deal is going to be too good to pass up. So take advantage of the Salmon Candy flasher deal that you saw on your screen, and we'll be right back talking about Akuma Convectors. It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's 404 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are going to join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
We are back, and again, Nick Schneiderwint, Great Lakes Specialist with the Reel Shot, is joining me. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? I'm trying to kick a little cold right now, but my birthday's coming up, and I better get out of there real quick.
Better. When's your birthday?
Tomorrow.
Holy smokes! Well, happy early birthday. How old are you going to be? Can I ask?
29.
29. Well, that's awesome. Everybody, are you ready to sing to him? Happy birthday. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you making time. And
sure.
Hey, This time I led into it on the right way. We're talking salmon reels today, right?
We're
talking salmon reels today.
Yep.
Nick saved the day on Monday when I was making a mistake talking walleye and thinking I was talking salmon, but we're talking salmon today, buddy. Akuma convector line counters. We have the right hands. They're the CV30DS, the CV45D, and then the 45DS as well. So. On your screen right now, everybody, you're going to see the savings, and it's $119.99 original retail price. We got them on sale right now for $99.99. Now, Nick, finding that out, the other day you found out we had some sales going on in some of these hot-selling products. Yep. How do you feel about this sale? I love it when we get Nick up here and he finds out about these deals because he's like, are you guys insane? And he's like, well, I already know Matt is, but what's going on?
Yep.
So let's kind of get right into it. Let's start with this simple question, and I'm going to phrase this as easily as I can. With these reels, the 30, the 45, and the 45DS, right? What does the D portion stand for?
D is just the model.
Okay.
D is just the model.
D is just
Relax, man. Relax.
But you did say like the D is the more
the
standard.
D is the lower gear ratio at 4.1, and then the DS is the faster speed ratio at 6.2.
All right, so with knowing that now, when is the application for each one? Like what are you going to for each situation you can think of?
My favorite, high speed on dipsies and downriggers, and maybe up to 5 colors. So the key to a low gear ratio is it's got more torque.
Yep.
So you're pulling more weight. So 5 colors and 5 colors to 10 colors more weight. If you're running pump handles, you're with a flasher on it, you're gonna want that torque to. It's gonna be a lot easier to reel in with that lower gear ratio.
So you like the lower gear ratios?
I love the lower gear ratio for the weight.
For the weight portion.
Yep, for the weight portion. The dipsies and the downriggers, there's no weight to it.
Okay.
Hardly at all. So when your downrigger pops off and you got that giant bowl of slack, you want to pick that line up as soon as possible so it doesn't come off.
So that's
get the
where
line tight. That's when the 6.2 comes to play.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And now, you know, we talked about Akuma earlier this week on Monday. You and I got to talk about the quality Akuma stuff. And just to remind people, Akuma's been in the game since 1986.
Sure.
So they know what it takes. Now, like we're looking at, I mean, just sheer size of these things. Talk about. You're really good at talking about the line capabilities. What are the line capabilities of the reels that we have in front of us, whether it's either the 45 or the 30?
Sure, we'll start with the 30. So the 30 sizes I use for downriggers, wires, and pump handles. Because that capacity is 300 yards of 25 or 30 pound mono for downrigger. And then if I were to set it up with a dipsy, I'd go 100 yards of mono with another 250 to 300 yards of 50-pound braid. And same goes for a pump handle. You're just using a leader at the end of it. So that covers those sizes right there. I also use these for wire too, because then I'm putting 25-pound mono of 25 yards, 50 yards of 50-pound Power Pro, and then 1,000 feet of wire that fills it full.
Holy man. Like, is this trial and error when you're figuring out, like, how do you find the right ratios for these lines?
Experience.
Experience?
I mean, at first you can go off the charts, but they're only going to tell you a mono and braid rating. Okay. And a little bit of diameters. See, they show millimeters on there too, but you can do some guesswork. But it's trial and error to start. But it's years worth of knowledge of spirit.
Well, so how long have you been in this game, the salmon game?
I started chartering in 2012 or 2013. I moved up to Bailey's Harbor and got a gig on a charter boat. So it's pretty much taken over from there. Yeah, that was really the only thing I had left to do for experience-wise in the northeast area.
Was just get on
the salmon boat. Okay. I mean, I fished them in the fall all the time. As a kid, from 4 years up, we traveled to Door County and we would fish them in the harbors on Skane and stuff like that. But I never went on the boat until like 2013.
Really?
Yep.
And now that's something that you still do to this day, right?
Right. Yeah, I help out when anybody needs it. I have a half a dozen captains that are calling me up when they need me. And if I can, it's harder with 2 kids now. I'll go if I have time.
Yeah. So out of all the captain's boats and all your experience on there, like, how often are these reels the reels that the majority of the crews are running?
You know, these are the basic for the money reels.
Yep.
Like, you can't get a better reel for $100 around that price range, and they're workhorses. I mean, a lot of the weekend anglers love them between the convector and the cold water.
Yep.
But a lot of the captains do look for the higher quality because they want durability. They're beating on them every day.
Yeah, I mean, but the Akuma name, and the other thing too, like we talked about this before, is the Akuma does have a 1-year manufacturer's defect, and if you warranty, right? So if you have any issues with it, like Nick told us before, you want you to go back to Akuma, but they have a great warranty page on their website. Or if you do have any questions, you can always call Nick here at the store.
Call me. Sometimes a lot of people knock the reels and their clicker comes loose inside. That's just a simple fix. You take this off, put it back into the groove, and slap it back on.
Oh, that's awesome. That's what I love about having Nick up here for this stuff. Now, again, we talked about they have the clicker capabilities. Yep. They have the star drag. This is the standard stuff. I mean, and the other thing too is everything is labeled, right? Like Nick said, your line capabilities are all labeled on here. Akuma does a really nice job of labeling their reels so you know. And then we talked about the clear view technology that's on here with the easy button. I mean, that sucker is super big and it's super easy to push as well.
Yep, definitely.
So as you see on the screen, everybody, right now $119.99 is the normal retail price. $99.99 is the sale price, and who knows how long we're going to have that price there. So it's one of those things like, do not wait. Take advantage of the deal. I mean, we've talked about so many things up here that it's like you got to take advantage of the deal. I mean, these big old handles on these Akuma reels, this is perfect, and the salmon bite is really good right now as well, right?
It's heating up with this warm weather. It's finally going to wake them up with this hot weather. It's going to create a nice thermocline. Right now, it's cold top to bottom, so they don't know where to go, what to eat, when to eat. And it's really tough fishing right now, but with this hot weather heat wave, it's going to create a nice thermocline, and they're going to set up even better, and they're going to start eating again.
Yeah, so, and there you go. You're hearing it from Nick. He's been doing this for a long time. Take advantage of the deal. Father's Day is coming up, right? Upgrade your equipment. If you need to upgrade, we are saving you money to allow you to upgrade. The thing about it is, too, is you get the reel, you need the rod. You come and talk to Nick, you buy it online, you're going to want Nick to spool it up, and you can do in-store pickup on some of this stuff, too, if you're coming through the area.
Right.
Just click on there. I want Nick. There's special instructions. You can say, I want Nick to spool me up. Then I'm going to come look at a rod in store with Nick's help. So take advantage of the deal online, and that's where you can get it at thereelshot.com, and then just come see Nick in the store. And then maybe you want to go with some of the Salmon Candy product like we've talked about. We have a great assortment of the flashers and the flies that would pair really, really well with this stuff. But I mean, take it from Nick, right? You've been doing this for a long time. He's got a birthday tomorrow, too. So if you want to come give him a birthday hug.
I'll be gone.
Here?
I'll be gone.
Oh, you're fishing tomorrow?
Going up north.
Yeah, so he's going up north. So, again, everybody, it's the reels that we're referring to. You see them on the screen. The CV30DS, the 45D, and the CV45DS. Depending on your capabilities, if you're unsure, get a hold of Nick here at the store. He would love to help you out. If you have any questions on, maintenance of these, I mean, there's got to be very little maintenance needed regularly, but I mean, once a year, you should probably go through these reels, right?
Right, exactly, yep.
So, okay, so Nick, we're going to cut you free. I know you got to get down there and keep working, Huddy. I appreciate it. Hey, happy early birthday. Hey. All right, man. Thanks. Well, thanks, everybody. That's Nick Schneiderwent. You can kind of cruise out, buddy. We're going to continue on. Again, thanks so much, Nick. Again, I can't recommend it more, everybody. You got to go see Nick here at the store. I mean, I rely on Nick. He saved the day for me the other day when I was confused on what I was talking about. Up, down, right, left. I don't really know, but I love having Nick up here because I know I got the knowledge that I'm going to need in these situations. And again, with the Akuma products, right? the CV30DS, the 45D, the CV45D, and the CV45DS2. Remember, like, Akuma's been in this game since 1986. They are a reliable company. They are a very well-known company in the salmon and trout game, but then on the other aspects of it too. So we have, I'm sorry, Aaron's talking to me. We got the wide mouth technology on here. So like where Nick was referring to, your junction points, right? Like you don't want, knots binding up. That's why Akuma realized they needed the wide view technology, or the wide view, the wide mouth technology that's on here to allow those junction points, the big line points, the easy access, to free spool it. The big star drag system on here, the ergo handles. I mean, look at how big this handle is. This is one thing, like when you got a big old salmon or trout on there, you want to be able to find the handle quickly. And just by having one handle too, it makes your job a lot easier because you can really grind down on that handle and get that fish in quickly. I mean, there's just a lot of benefits to the Akuma products that you're going to want to take advantage of the deal. And remember, if you're a fixed TV member, you get an additional $5 if you didn't use your $5 that you get allowance, basically, that you get by being a fixed TV member to the Real Shot. So if you did have any questions on how to get that on the fixed TV website, there is a frequently asked questions portion of it at the bottom. You can find that information down there and then get your $5. So if you are a fixed TV member and you haven't seen the information, check your emails and or follow along on the frequently asked question portion, and that'll take you right here. But mechanical stabilization system, we talked about the 1-year warranty. That's the direct to Akuma warranty. Clear technology. Now, what does that really mean? It's an anti-fogger that they put right here in the dial, your line counter portion of it, that's going to help keep that out. I mean, the conditions out there, when you got to go, right? So whether it's rain, snow, sleet, hail, I don't really care. Like, you might be a tornado like they're talking about in our areas. You got to be out on the water. And having a quality product like this Akuma and knowing the abilities to have that anti-fogging and lightweight too. For this big old bulky reel right here, this thing is very, very lightweight. The products that they go with are all corrosion resistant, so you know that this thing is going to last the test of time. Again, like Nick was saying, if you're a charter captain out there right now, you need a high quality product, right? But you can get a high quality product at a low price of $99.99 when you shop at TRS Live right now. And all the shopping for the products that we referred to, whether it's the Salmon Candy or the Akuma so far, right, are at therealshot.com. There's one, you can see it on the screen right now. The fit and finish of this reel is perfect. The design, everything about this reel is absolutely perfect for you to take advantage of that deal of $99.99. On the screen right now, you'll see it. It's OCLRH. That's the product code that you will type in to the Real Shot website. That'll take you directly back to this product right here. So 2 ball bearings plus the 1, so we got the 3 ball bearing system. I mean, we already found out what the D and the DS portion of it mean. That's just your speed ratios. So we could talk about line retrieve. So your CV30DS, your line retrieve is in that 37 range. Your 45D is right around in that 41 range. 20 range, and then the DS is in that 41 range. So the line capabilities, the max drag is 20 pounds all the way across. The weight-wise, too, is right about 20 to 22 ounces, depending on which reel you have. So take advantage of the awesome deal that you see on your screen right now, whether you're looking to upgrade or you're looking to get into the game. We're here to save you money on a lot of great salmon products for Great Lakes. So it's one more time, everybody. It's the Akuma line counters. It's the right hand. It's the CV30DS, the CV45D, and then the CV45DS. Normal retail price, $119.99. We have them on sale for $99.99. And the deal is here today and might be gone tomorrow, especially at that price. So do not wait. Throw these into the cart, check out, and if you do have any questions once you get your prize in the mail, that your prized possession, contact Nick at the store. He's a great asset for us here at TRS Live and the Real Shot. So Coming up next, we're going to bring another high-quality TRS employee in here, and we're going to be talking about the Zoom Super Fluke Junior. You'll see it right there on the screen, and what other capabilities you can have. We're not really salmon fishing or trout fishing as much anymore. We're kind of getting into that bass walleye world as we wrap up today's show. So check on out, and we'll be joined here with a Tyson Hansen from the Reel Shot. So enjoy these commercial breaks. It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life.
We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream.
Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are going to join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
TRS Live, we're here to save you a bunch of money, and we're kind of jumping from one world to the next with Tyson Hansen. What's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. It's my Monday today.
It is your Monday. How you feeling?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How's fishing been?
It's been really good, and actually, these baits are coming to play right now.
Well, tell everybody what we're talking about.
All right, so right now, basically, the pattern in the northern states right now is that all the bait fish or fry are starting to come out of the backs of these creeks. From the spawning season. They're getting big enough to where they're going to start venturing out on their own. And basically, you're going to try and mimic those.
Correct.
And cast around the mouths of creeks or the points or reeds or something like that where they're kind of hiding or schooling up yet. So this is a schooling style bait with some incredible action, and you can rig it like 30 different ways.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways. So we're on your screen right now. You're going to see we're talking about the Zoom Super Fluke Junior. Regular retail price on that is $3.99. You're looking at a sale price of $3.19 right now. So let's get into it right away. So this obviously is to mimic a bait fish.
Absolutely.
And I love these because I love this for a river smallmouth bait.
Oh yeah.
Because I can fish it down in the water column. I can fish it high in the water column. Tell us some more ways that you like to rig the Super Fluke Junior.
So the Super Fluke has been rigged so many different ways over the years. I really like it on a really light belly rigged or belly weighted EWG hook.
Yep.
So very, very simplistic rig. But basically, I just like you said, I like to fish it a little bit down in the water column, and that small belly weight is going to allow that thing to kind of pendulum and spiral down, just like a dying bait fish would. So if you're fishing, like you said, schooling smallmouth when they're already on bait, it's a ridiculously good presentation to trigger those strikes. And what I like to do is cast it out there and either just let it fall.
Yep.
The splash on the top of the water will attract them in there. And basically that falling, kind of swaying action as it pendulums down right there just gets eaten a ton. You can also twitch it, give it little light pops to get that thing to kind of dart and jump from side to side and up and down. The other way that I really like to rig these things is a double fluke rig.
Yeah, now talk about that.
Kind of like it's the nickname, the donkey rig. I have no idea why.
I love that name, by the way.
I have no idea why.
That's such an awesome name.
But basically, it is a double, just like it says, a double fluke rig where you would rig basically 2 of these on 2 separate lines on one main line, basically. So how I rig it is personally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie. How can I describe this fairly easily? It is a more complicated rig.
It sounds like this is a real shot video that
we could probably do this here in about 20 minutes after we get this all done, is post this up together.
Right.
You know? And what it is you run your main line through a swivel, and then on the end of your main line, you tie another swivel. Now you have a sliding swivel.
Okay.
Onto that swivel, you would tie a little, like 1 foot lead to a Texas or to a EWG hook or an offset worm hook.
Yep.
Put your fluke on that one, and then obviously you have another swivel you need to tie to. You'd tie the exact same lead, or maybe just a hair longer, so that way they don't line up right next to each other side by side. It looks like one will be following the other. When you cast that thing out there and twitch it on the top of the water, those 2 kind of dart and dive individually, and it's some of the most insane action. That's one of my favorite rigs to rig up with a Fluke Junior.
Yeah, and so like what he's referring to a lot of times too with that EWG hook is they have a big slotted portion of the belly, right? I know we had it up here earlier. I was trying to separate it so you could see it, but that really does a nice job of keeping that hook weedless, right? But it's still allowing it to lay flat on the grooved portion of the back. So you can get the ultimate weedless setup with these baits just off the pure design of it.
Absolutely. So that bait was designed to throw around cover.
Yep.
That's why they did the swim bait slot in there, the hook slot in the belly there. Also what that does is gives you the least amount of plastic that you have to punch a hook through.
Yes.
So you can run an offset worm hook there, which is a little bit thinner belly, and that's going to punch through that little bit of thin plastic on the top there. No problem. So the hookup ratio on these things is absolutely phenomenal.
Plus, they're still pretty darn durable too. So, I mean, you think with something that's got as much movement as these have, the plastic will be so soft that 1 or 2 fish would be about the max you would get on it. But that's still pretty durable plastic that they have.
Absolutely. So Zoom's been making plastics for a very, very long time. Normally, you're pretty good with the dates. Do you know how long they've been making plastics?
So I believe it was 1977 is when they kind of started the Zoom.
That sounds spot on to me. I think that's the date that I've
Chambers.
Heard as well.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So they've been making really high quality plastics for a long time. And they definitely nailed the formula for this bait. It's soft enough to where it dips and dives and moves, and then that tail action,
it's a fork tail.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to even keep this thing steady, just holding it in my hand there. You can just see the slight movement there. And that's awesome because when it pendulums down and when it spirals and falls in front of those fish, that tail is wiggling and moving on the way down, and that's what gives it that erratic action when you do pop it on the top of the water. So the other way a lot of guys rig these is on an underspin, which is something that I don't do a ton of up here, but I know that I've been beat many times over on an underspin up in northern lakes, just because they'll take a color just like, what is that, baitfish?
So yeah, our 2 colors that we're referring to today, I apologize if I did. So it's baitfish, like Tyson's holding right here, and then I got watermelon red. Again, some of the most popular colors you could ask for, and we got them on sale.
Yeah, absolutely. So this color specifically would be great to put it on an underspin. It would be great to throw around those smallmouth waters where they're schooling on baitfish, because that is what this color was designed to mimic. So you can throw this thing everywhere in the entire U.S.
Yep.
Without a doubt, it is one of the most versatile colors on their entire lineup. Same thing with watermelon red. Watermelon red has been a staple for years in the bass fishing industry. And if you were targeting those schooling fish that are just coming out of the backs of those sloughs, a lot of those fish are going to be, bass fry or northern fry. So they're going to have a little green to them. And when they're younger, they do have some different tints like red and black in there as well. So watermelon red would be fantastic to throw in clear water right now around any sort of cover that those fry might have been sitting in. And the baitfish color is an excellent choice all around, all year. Whether you're fishing clean water or stained water, they're going to be able to see that pearl color, that gray back with a lot of that large glitter flake inside of the bait.
The other thing I noticed about the profile of the body is that Aaron had that main screen is like the head portion of it, the nose, if you want to call it, is a lot thinner. So you can most definitely drop shot this bait too if you wanted to.
You absolutely can. You absolutely can do so. This size in particular would be fantastic.
This is the 4-inch, yep.
Yep. So that 4-inch junior size is absolutely perfect for doing so. Right now, again, when those bait fish are getting a little bit bigger and starting to grow a little bit, this size would be perfect for a drop shot. It'd be perfect for, there's another rig I was thinking, you can Carolina rig these things too. So, I mean, I've named off, I think, 4 or 5 different ways you can rig these things, and there's, like I said, there's probably 26 more.
Well, one of the other ones too that I found right on their website is fish it off a scrounger head. Yes,
that is a fantastic presentation with that forktail. That's one that eludes me a lot of times. You forget about that up here. Green Lake specifically, I do throw a scrounger head, and I know I'm getting detailed with where I throw specific stuff, but giving away my secrets now.
You got to message Tyson for that information.
Right. Giving away secrets now, but one of the only times I throw a scrounger head specifically is when I go to that lake. I throw it on a very, very similar color to this. And actually, I might have to go grab a pack.
I was going to say, because we only have like 20 of each one in stock.
Yep. This is a perfect color. Again, clean body of water before it gets some algae in there. Just a fantastic profile overall. And anything that's got that chattering motion, I knew.
Could you put it on the back of a chatterbait?
Absolutely. This size in particular, I'd probably throw it on that new, that Mini Max size.
Okay.
That would be perfect for this profile bait. You might have to just trim the nose maybe a 1/4 inch to make everything kind of line up flush with that.
Yep.
But that on the back of a Mini Max Z-Man would be phenomenal. And you're gonna get a ton of action out of there. And this tail with that shape is not gonna hinder the action of the blade at all.
Yeah, they refer to it as a swoop and glide, a dart and knuckleball. I mean, that's kind of action you get with this fork tail. So I have a question for you. Like I said, I like to fish this in shallow rivers, right, or smallmouth, right? What is your go-to hook presentation for that? Do you run a through hook, or do you want to fish it the weedless style like you talked about before?
So I only run these as a Texas rig or a Texposed
so
hook.
with the hook weedless style.
Yep, correct. Now, if you're fishing around a lot of open water, like if you're fishing, again, schooling fish, say off of a point or something like that, or a current break and they're in an eddy where there's not a lot of structure around where you're throwing, you absolutely can run these a VMC like 2-aught Nico hook.
Okay.
That you would rig basically the note or the hook point all the way back into the bait and then pop it out like a jig head.
Yeah, and they have that keeper too, so that would help.
Absolutely, that would help keep the nose kind of pinned up to the front. You could absolutely run that style hook there. I personally would run probably a 3-aught offset worm hook for most of my presentations that I run with this.
Okay.
It keeps the profile a little bit thinner. It looks a little more natural because that hook doesn't bow down in the belly quite as much. I still think there's plenty of gap there with the thickness of this bait that I'm not worried about the hook penetration at all or the plastic getting in the way because it does have that belly slot in there. I think it has a little bit more action too because it has less water displacement.
Yep.
It's more streamlined with the bait. It looks more natural. So like I said, a 3-aught offset worm hook is primarily what I'm going to run if I'm going to fish it like that. And that's for largemouth or smallmouth.
Large or smallies.
Yep, because with that presentation, it gives you the versatility to where if maybe you're fishing an eddy in the river and you drift back a little bit and you notice a couple fish breaking on maybe an undercut bank, you can skip this thing right to the shoreline around wood or around grass, and it's going to pop through that nice and clean with the same presentation.
Yep. So one thing too, because this is a little bit smaller profile, we talked about that 4-inch style, and it's a 10-pack for those who are wondering. What line would you recommend? I know that's kind of a loaded question depending on if you're fishing around cover or not, but because this is a smaller, more lightweight bait, are you fishing this on a spinning combination, or can you still, with a medium style bait caster have success?
So that's going to depend on how I'm rigging it or what I'm throwing it on. If I'm throwing it on as a trailer, like on the back of a chatterbait, I'm definitely going to throw it on a bait caster. And especially if I'm around cover, I'm still going to throw it around a bait caster. Now, what I might do a little bit differently is I might go to that belly-weighted, smaller EWG if I wanted to throw it on a bait caster, if I was fishing around heavier cover and I wanted to get away with a little bit heavier line, so to say, as because you still don't want to fish a spinning rod or with an 8-pound fluoro or maybe a 10-pound braid around cover. You still need to get those fish out of there.
Yep.
So I would say maybe you could go a little bit heavier on the bait. Now that is going to change the presentation. So what I can say about that is if I wanted to throw it around on a spinning rod, because it is a little bit lighter bait, what I would do is I would run probably a 20-pound main line on a spinning rod, and I would run a little bit heavier fluorocarbon leader just so I get that sink out of it, because the braid is going to actually keep it up. So the goal is to get that bait down a little bit, but you don't want to hinder the action, go fluorocarbon as a leader or fluorocarbon as a main line on bait caster. And that would be my choice. But I would say if I'm fishing around cover, around, again, some like undercut banks or around some brush or laydowns or something like that for smallmouth in the river systems, what I'm leaning towards is that 20-pound braid main line to like a 14 or a 16-pound fluorocarbon leader, just so I get that durability of the leader. You're going to catch a lot of pike on this thing too up here. That's the unfortunate side of things.
I know.
So the little bit heavier leader, at least you're going to get your hook and your bait back, but also it's going to sink a little bit faster than if it was, say, on 8 or 10. And you're going to have the durability and be able to reef those fish out of that cover that you're fishing. So it depends on what you're fishing and the application that you're fishing. The donkey rig, I do throw it specifically only on a bait caster because you do have two baits there, a little bit more weight, and just the action of the twitching that I do with that bait. For me personally, it's just a lot easier on a medium heavy bait caster.
Okay.
And I'm throwing that on, more than likely I'm throwing that on straight 16-pound fluorocarbon.
And a little longer rod so you can bomb cast?
Absolutely. So I would be looking for a medium heavy rod with a little bit softer tip. I'm not saying a moderate action at all, but still something that's a little softer, but yet it's still a fast, so you can get those hooks in that fish. But you do want to load up the rod to be able to get the distance out of these things. What's nice about if you're fishing in a river system is most of the time you don't need to cast super far.
Right.
Like if you're fishing a gin clear lake for largemouth on a weed line or something like that. So you can get a little closer. You don't need to get that distance out of there. Most of the time you're fishing, 30, 40 feet at most away from a bank if you're throwing these in the river systems. The stained water, you can get closer.
Yep. So we had to actually have a comment. And don't forget, everybody, the chats are open for the show. If you have any questions about the product or if you have any questions for one of the guests that we have. But Dylan says he loves the colors that we selected for the show. And don't forget, everybody, $319 is the sale price for the 10-pack. But he said he's also been experimenting with them on a Ned head as well.
Fantastic presentation. So with the Ned head, the shorter size is fantastic for that. And because the nose is solid plastic, you can absolutely get away with Ned rigging these things. And especially in the springtime, if you fish those on a Ned head or on a bed, you can get that little pop, and it's still going to have that little dart and fall. And that tail, if I hold this thing up, let's see if I can get that to do that.
Here, we gotta have. There you go. Aaron's got it. There you go.
There we go. You're literally not going to be able to.
There we go.
To keep that tail from dancing around. So that's how that would look like on a Ned head. Is this thing's going to fall nose first, and that tail is just going to be shaking there. And if you shake the rod, like a lot of times there's a, I forget what they call the technique, but it's basically where you bump the back of the butt of the rod and kind of just tap on it. This bait is going to shake like no other. With that fork tail, it's just going to have so much action there. They're not going to be able to resist it. So a Ned head in the springtime, especially on bedded fish, is going to be absolutely killer for those fish. You're definitely going to be able to trigger a lot of strikes for that. As we get away from that, if you're fishing rock, again, kind of on, maybe you're fishing a point in the river system, and those schooling fish have kind of stopped schooling.
Yep.
You can absolutely cast a Ned rig up there, start dragging it looks just like a dying bait fish kind of bouncing down the river bottom in that current there with a Ned head. So that is a fantastic rig for those.
This would be also, I mean, we've been talking a lot about bass, but man, this would be a walleye crusher too. Very similar style, like on a Ned or on a round ball, something like that. This thing would absolutely crush walleyes, and it, especially like in the head-to-head where we can use artificials, and so often like we're looking for replacements to that look very much lifelike, like a real minnow.
Absolutely.
This thing is it. So it is the Zoom. It's the Super Fluke Junior. This is a 4-inch, and it's a 10-pack. So the colors in particular that we're talking about today are watermelon red, and then it's the bait fish color. That's both the colors. That's the one I have in my hand. I absolutely love these. These things look great. I think they're going to crush pretty much anything, like you said. You could probably even get some bigger crappies on these things too.
Absolutely. So not going to be my first choice for northern crappies.
Right.
But
what?
If you're a southern guy and you're catching 2-pound crappies on average, they will crush this bait.
Yes.
And without a doubt. I've caught a couple over 2 pounds down in Alabama when I went to Gunnersville and stuff like that, and they absolutely destroy plastics down there. This would be a perfect one. You could even drop shot these in some brush piles down there and crush fish. Now, you did mention the walleyes. And that's a very interesting one because this past spring, our very own Mike Williams was telling me that's all he uses. He just runs flukes, and he runs other bait fish style soft plastics. In his opinion, you don't even need live bait when you're running these things. Put a little bit of scent on them and just vertical jig, because it's all presentation. It's all just getting in front of that fish. And if they're hungry, they're gonna hit this thing. Yeah, and that, like you mentioned, the scent portion of it, these are salt impregnated too, so they already have some of that flavor, some of that buoyancy too that salt's gonna help you with. But I mean, it's a great, great product. We've talked about it. You can catch a bunch of different fish on it. Walleyes, bass, northern pike, unfortunately. But if you're targeting them, I mean, that's the thing. And on that Super Fluke style, that donkey setup, that would probably crush some pike for sure. It's a killer. The funny thing is a lot of times the pike lose focus of the double rig. So they go for the first one, but then out of the corner of their eye, they see the second one, and they end up biting in the middle of your line, and they just split everything in half. So you don't even get a hook in them. It's just they just cut off the back one, and you're left with the front one. Now you got to retie everything. So personally, I'm throwing the full size fluke if I'm going to target pike. They can see it a little bit easier. They're going to be just as aggressive anyways. But for some reason, if you're looking for juvenile pike, maybe you've got a slot limit on your lake or something like that, and you're into pickling pike. Yeah, the hammer handles. Absolutely. Pickle them. Yeah, this might be the thing. But like Tyson said, though, if they bite you off, you're going to need backup. So take advantage of the deal right now. $3.19. That's a 10-pack. Watermelon red bait fish. Some great products on your screen. You'll see it's ZSFJR for Super Fluke Junior. Hot bait, been out there forever. Big time style plastic company out there. The fork tail, the crazy action you're going to get with these things. Do not hesitate. Take advantage of the deal. And that is kind of the deal we got today. Everything we've talked about, Salmon Candy with Cody. Nick came in here. We talked about the Akuma Convector stuff. And then Tyson was glad enough to join us today to talk about Super Fluke Juniors and all that great stuff. So, I mean, Father's Day is here, buddy. You got to get that stuff now. Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a huge weekend coming up for us. I know, can we talk about it? Yeah, tell them. Okay, so we've got some absolutely insane deals going on in-store and online, including the Zoom Super Flukes. So, I mean... can you segue into some of this stuff as we wrap this baby up? I think we're going to do some... Can I say the deals on here? As long as you don't get us in trouble, go for it. Man, okay, I gotta Can you watch what I say? Yeah. Okay, so can we say just follow our social media page for the deals? We could do that. Yeah. I'll give them. Tyson wants to tell you a little. I'll give one hint. One hint. Everything fishing related is on sale. Like everything fishing related. So tackle, all the new baits, all of these. Tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow?
Starts tomorrow.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
got it. You got to
We got
check
one
it
day
out.
yet.
Online and in store. Starts tomorrow. Some awesome Father's Day promo. All right, buddy. Thanks so much for joining me. We're gonna wrap this one up here on TRS Live. Thanks everybody out there. Thanks Dylan and anybody else that threw some comments in the chat room. We appreciate all that stuff. But we're going to be here again Friday morning at 9 o'clock. I think we're talking more deals out there. That's all we ever do here is just talk about crazy savings. In a time of when products are hard to get, we're crazy enough to start discounting them.
Yeah, especially on products just such as good as these. I mean, these have been a staple for years.
Yeah,
man.
these are mine. So, all right, everybody, I will see you on Friday or at Friday, 9 o'clock on Friday. I'm all ready to go fishing.
There you go.
Have a good rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you Friday morning.